focusing more on them becoming critical thinkers, them becoming collaborators, them having integrity with their word and with their actions, them being kind, and making sure that that becomes the focus in the classroom.
Welcome to another episode of the Powercast. I'm your host, Rick Fernandez, and I've got my wonderful co-host. You're going to be seeing a lot more of Jeff Pelzel. We are partners in crime for Power School, and a big thank you to Power School for sponsoring this show and allowing us the freedom to talk to wonderful leaders, which brings me to our guest. Now, Jeff, do you want to introduce the guest or should I? No, you should. You should.
I definitely, I have the honor of introducing Superintendent Kerry Callahan, who is at Western Placer Unified, and just so excited for you to be able to join us. I've had many conversations, and I can't wait for this conversation for you to share the work that's going on in your school district. So Kerry, tell us a little bit about yourself and the great things going on.
Wait. I got a gift for Kerry. Now, I'm going to lean right into my stereotypes. For lunch, avocado toast. But I know you're from New York, so I do have some with some cream cheese. I don't have any bagels, so this is what I had to do. So, we try to be as inclusive, and since you're my first California superintendent guest, I wanted to make it special. So if you need, I can FedEx that right to the house right now. So welcome. We're excited to have you.
Well, I appreciate the juxtaposition between the cream cheese bagel and the avocado California toast. I thank you both for having me on the show. I really appreciate being here. And yes, Rick, I am from New York originally, a small little town in upstate New York where bagels and cream cheese were a big staple in my house. I actually never had an avocado until I moved to California. So
I knew it. I told you, Jeff.
Yeah. So I got my teaching degree in New York and taught math at the middle school level for many years. And I moved to California in 2000 during the .com era. My first husband was an engineer, and so we came out to California for that reason. And I was able to get a job teaching math right away in a small town in Galt, California, just south of Sacramento, and then began my administrative journey in Woodland Joint Unified as a math coordinator, served as an elementary principal, a high school principal, and then made my way to Western Placer in 2014 as the assistant superintendent of ed services, and was appointed as superintendent 4 years ago and have been serving in that role ever since. And in Western Placer, we are one of the largest or fastest growing districts in California. So as California is seeing declining enrollment, we are blessed to be enrolling more students every year. And it's allowed us to support students in ways that unfortunately other districts are having to navigate cuts around. So we serve 8,000 students in the suburbs of Sacramento, California, and we're doing amazing things in our district to support student achievement.
I got to ask, what was the biggest difference coming from New York school system to California? What's the first thing you noticed was like, vastly different?
Funding.
Yeah. ADA?
Yeah. California per student ADA funding is just very, very low in comparison to New York. And in New York, when I was in school myself, I graduated with 100 students, so 400 students in my high school. We had 4 counselors, a full-time assistant principal, full-time librarian, full-time nurse. Our class sizes were really small. And when I taught in New York, it was very, very similar. So coming out to California and just seeing the needs were so extreme, and the lack of support and resources was pretty evident. And while New York is a very diverse state as well, where I was in upstate New York, it wasn't necessarily. So coming to California, where it's diverse no matter where you go, it was just really evident that the needs for California students were greater than what I experienced in New York, and yet the resources were just not there.
Wow. Kerry, I knew we had a connection with the superintendent gig, but here's the thing. High school math teacher here too. So when I looked at all that information and saw that you did the math coaching, like math near and dear to my heart, I'm like, that's where the deeper connection comes from and grows. Yes, I can celebrate the challenges and commiserate some of the challenges of being a superintendent in California, but that whole math thing, going down that path is an interesting journey and definitely challenging, as you know.
Yeah.
So, as you move states, right, you get to see a different style of probably teaching. You get to see different funding, just how we do school differently. And right now, you're making some changes too. You're going through a rebranding process at Western Placer. Tell us a little bit about that and kind of what led you into that.
So Western Placer has been around since 1967. It was a merge of 12 small school districts throughout the rural Lincoln area, just north of Sacramento, and we had one logo that has been around since 1967. It was, I believe, a clip art that was
No, okay, hold on. What was the logo? Because now you got me interested. I'm gonna go off.
It was a graduation hat with the tassel, and then some yellow lines that were representing farm fields, and then it was maroon and gold, and there was a star on the graduation cap as well. So I mean, it served us well for many years. And when I took over as superintendent, I saw it as an opportunity to really redefine who are we as Western Placer, what is it that we want for our young people when they attend here, and what are our hopes for them for the future. And so that started with us redefining our vision, which is empowering minds, igniting futures. And from that, we worked with a graphic designer to rebrand our district logo, which looks very different now. It's a wonderful book with a tree and some leaves that are very different size that represent the diversity of our community. It also highlights Gladding McBean, which is the clay pipe factory here in Lincoln that's near and dear to our community, and then Sierra Pacific, the logging company as well. And so it really honored the traditions of our community while also highlighting our goal to really empower our young people's minds and ignite them into a really successful future. And so it took off pretty quickly, and people now it's crazy to think that it's only been, I think, a year and a half since we did that, and people have very quickly forgotten, maybe on purpose. They've really embraced this new concept for where we're going as a district.
That's awesome. Go ahead, Jeff.
Is that when you rebranded the vision too? It's so succinct. I mean, I love that. Empowering minds, igniting futures. And what's the significance behind that? And what did that work look like in your district to come to that? I mean, it's super easy to remember.
I think a lot of our conversations were about the future. It's more important that we think about what's next for our kids than to really focus on the here and now. And not that that's not important, because the here and now is what's going to ultimately develop them into the incredible human beings that we hope that they will be when they launch into their future. But we really wanted that forward thinking, like igniting you, launching you into these incredible futures, and what do we need to do in order for that to occur? Well, we need to empower your minds, and for us, empowering minds is not about drill and kill and focus on the academic per se. It's a huge part of it for sure, but it's really more about providing our young people with the skills that they need to really empower their minds, right? Like, how are they thinking critically? How are they, exercising resilience? How are they collaborating with each other? And those are key words that I'm using as part of our Portrait of a Learner that we also launched not long after our branding, to really signal to our community that it's more about developing the whole child and ensuring that they truly have the skills for success beyond life or beyond high school. But and it's not necessarily whether they're getting A's and B's in math and science and English, but that they're able to take information, discern it, and do something important with that, and be good human beings in at the same time.
Man, I love the brevity of it, because y'all are probably the same, where you've seen these long page and a half mission vision. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody knows how to get there. It's like before you had GPS, you're just trying to drive and figure it out without any really understanding of where you were going. And nobody in the organization knows either. So
like
to have
word salad. It's like a word salad, like everything thrown in. The kitchen sink, oh, you forgot the porch, you forgot the chair, got to throw it all in there to make sure we've hit and touched everything. That was, to me, that's what it was for many years with Mission and Vision. And I really appreciate what you've done here, Kerry.
How do you, I'm going to dig into your portrait of a learner, because one of the things that it was always a struggle for me and like some of our teams I've worked with is that the vision of a learner in your adult age and state and how you experience school tends to shape what you think it needs to be for this generation. How do you stay like honest, understanding that their success may not equate to what we believe success should be or was, right? Because, you know, it was like you had to go to college. There was no other way. College was the only way. And we heard that through the 90s, early 2000s. But that may not quite be the case any longer. How do you stay honest about what kids need to have in terms of a learner outcome?
We make it about them. So we have
Yes.
a signature line in our district: nothing about them without them. And our work and decisions that we're making in our district, we are involving kids every step of the way. And I think you really touch on a huge thing that is really important to me from the generational aspects. Like I remember my grandmother, and she was so progressive. She's a female leader in my life that really inspired me. But she was somebody who grew with the world. And I think there are two types of people. There are those who get stuck in their ways, and, you know, these darn kids, they don't know, back in my day. And then there are those that embrace it, right? I'm going to grow with the change in the world. And my grandmother was one of those people. And it just really inspired me to be young, like to stay young, and to not assume that just because I was one young person once, that somehow I'm an expert in young people now or at any point. And the gap in our generations now is so much greater than it was. Like my life was not a whole lot different than my grandmother's. And two generations later, I mean, she had black and white TV, radio before black and white TV. I got color TV. Later in my youth, I got a remote control, right? I mean, and kids now, I mean, I have two adult daughters, one who's about to be 30, and then I have a son who's 12. And the difference just in them, and they're same generation technically, and night and day difference in their upbringing. And so for us as adults to assume that we have any idea about what our young people are going through is just, it's crazy. And so if we are going to support them, we need them to tell us, you know, what their needs are. We need to learn alongside them. We need to not criticize them for the way in which they're navigating their world, being irritated with them because they're playing video games all the time, or, you know, you're not outside playing. You know what? If we all had video game access when we were younger, we probably would be doing the same thing, right? So, and not assuming that they don't have work ethic, or that they're not motivated. We need to, rather than try to engage them on the ways in which we think they should be engaged, maybe we should ask them how they want to be engaged. And we really need to be constantly changing the way in which we're supporting them, because otherwise they're going to find other avenues to become successful as adults, and they're already signaling to us that they're doing that. We have more and more kids who are choosing to opt for alternative types of education, or they're taking, in California, we have a high school proficiency exam. They're taking that, and then they're going to college early, or they're getting their GEDs, and they're navigating the world in a different way because they're not seeing the educational setting as meaningful as it should be. And it's our job to figure out how to make it more meaningful for them. And I think the portrait is a huge part for us with that, because businesses have made it very clear that we're as educational entities are not really preparing kids to be successful in the work world. And I think it's because we're emphasizing too much on content standards versus the skills that they truly need to be successful in the work world.
So Kerry, we've kind of alluded and talked about this portrait on learner. Talk about these 6 pillars that you guys have identified, because there definitely is intersection, right, with what you're just describing. What does that look like for those listening? What are those 6 characteristics, or I might call pillars, in your district?
So collaboration, and these are not in any particular order. So collaboration, integrity, kindness, curiosity, resilience, and critical thinking. And we came to those words after about 18 months of working with different stakeholders in our community around the values that we have, and really getting down deep into the different types of characteristics and traits that people need to have to really be successful in life. And what I thought was really incredible and surprising a little bit, but I don't think it should have been, because we were coming out of COVID as it was occurring. And certainly we know with the state of our country and the polarization amongst us, it's wearing on all of us. And the number one characteristic that was consistent with every single stakeholder group that we talked to was kindness. Because there's just not enough of it in our world right now. And quite frankly, it's free. Like, kindness is free. Like, why we're not giving more of it it just boggles my mind. And I loved that our community as a whole said that was collectively their number one. And while it is in no particular order, that is something that we have really glommed onto in our district, about making sure that we're being intentional about teaching our kids how to be kind, and address situations when they see them that are not kind, and how do you navigate that? And so in working with our business world, and they've talked to us about, we can teach them what they need to know, but we can't teach these skills. They need to be developed before they get to us. And, it's hard. I mean, as a math teacher, and Jeff, you'll appreciate this, right? Like, I love math. I love it. And to me, I think everybody should do algebra and everybody should do calculus, because it's wonderful. But at the end of the day, unless you're going to teach math, or you're going to be an engineer, or, a contractor, or, obviously math is everywhere, but it's applied math. It's not the way in which we teach it in school. They're never going to see it in that form ever again. Nobody in the work world is asking them if a train leaves a station at, such time. And, but they need math for critical thinking, right? So it's, how are we using content to then be more intentional about the actual skills that we're developing? So focusing more on them becoming critical thinkers, them becoming collaborators, them having integrity with their word and with their actions, them being kind, and making sure that becomes the focus in the classroom or in the activities that we're doing outside of the classroom, versus the emphasis on that content standard. And I truly believe that if you put your emphasis in that area, the academic excellence or achievement is going to come by default, because it's just more meaningful.
I think I need to go check outside, because I'm an English teacher and I just had 2 math teachers tell me that. So just make sure hell's not freezing over outside, because I've never heard. I've every time I said, "Do I really need algebra?" And then I get lambasted. My wife's a math and science and an educator, so I've got to cut that. That's got to be a promo right there. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Interesting question. As you are fast growth, and there are districts in Texas very similar, where it is just the rooftops. It feels like you go to sleep and there's 500 new rooftops. And we also have the opposite, right? We have the contraction where kids are relocating or moving, districts are shrinking. And through all that, there's a lot of need for support from outside, right? So like your service providers, your partners, your vendors, what have you. when you think about who to partner with, when your team, your board, your community, like, all right, how do we go through that selection process? What's of value to you when you select a partner?
Ooh, that's a great question. We are, I think, as a district that is innovative and cutting edge and really looking to the future and wanting to grow ourselves, we definitely are looking for companies that embrace that same concept, like these companies that are looking to the future and are building themselves up, not for today, but how can we stay on top of it? Because if and we've worked with different systems and companies that we've ultimately then let go of because they had a product or a system and it never changed, and it was great in the moment, but over time as we morphed and grew and changed and asked for them to grow and change with us, it didn't happen. It was kind of like, well, this is our product. I'm like, well, and you're going to now lose your customer, right? So we definitely look for that. We look for good customer service and support. It's, being boots on the ground. It's not easy, the work that our teachers are doing, that our support staff are doing, and so we want people that are going to be responsive to our needs and allow us to be unique and customizable. So working with us to make it work in our situation, because we're all unique in the way in which we all have the same common goal to serve our students and support them, but we do it all in unique ways. And so having that ability to morph with us along the way is important too.
Kerry, we have a growing partnership with PowerSchool and Western Placer. I mean, I can remember sitting when the power was out initially, we couldn't get in, or other things. That was a day, I think school was canceled that day when we came to your district office. Do you remember? And we did the overview of PowerSchool and with your entire cabinet, and even a couple of board members were there. And it seems to be a growing partnership. How do you see, how has PowerSchool helped in your district, and what do you see that partnership, how is it working? How is it growing? Describe what that's been like for you.
It's been wonderful. Not without bumps, right? I mean, we're all human, and I feel like we are part of PowerSchool. Well, it's flying the plane and still building it, right? Because PowerSchool's acquired a lot of companies along the way, and really rebranding in some regards through PowerSchool to make these offshoots truly one cohesive system. But our big thing is the education systems can be so siloed. Everyone has like, oh, this niche over here, and we do this and we do this. And so, when you're talking about like the technology integration, because technology is such an integral part of everything that we do in education, and to put so much pressure on our tech department to have all these different APIs and trying to get different systems to talk to each other, and then, oh, by the way, this system does this, and so does this system, so you're kind of paying for two systems, but this one has something unique over here that this one doesn't, so that's why you have to have both. And so there is that whole piece of like, let's talk about like efficiency and cost-effective ways. And what I really appreciated about PowerSchool was that long-term vision about that one-stop shop. Like, how do we provide support for districts in every area that they need it, and not have it be something that becomes taxing for your tech department or for your staff or your parents, because parents don't want to log into 10 different systems to try and get information about their kids. Staff don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And so I really have appreciated the vision of PowerSchool to become that for districts. The other piece for us is that was important was just with AI. We are, as a district, we're leaning in. You can't beat it, so join it and do it thoughtfully and safely for our young people and staff. And so really appreciated PowerSchool's vision around AI and Power Buddy, and so creating a partnership that would support us as we embrace and move forward with AI on our district.
Was one of those bumps, are you trying to give me code that's Jeff? If I can remove one of those Power School bumps,
yeah.
It'd be.
No, Jeff's been great. We appreciate Jeff.
He was one of the first people to reach out to me when I joined the team, and we've really hit it off, and just we're very like-minded, but just the work that he does with you guys in California, I'm just very thankful. So if I give him a hard time, it's just because I've always believed that that's what your friends do. They kind of rib you when they get the opportunity. Yeah. So what are you most proud of in this moment for your school district?
Oh, so many things. I would say the incredible staff that serve the students. We have, everybody's going to say this, right? But I think it's actually true in our district. So we have the most incredible leaders that serve the teachers and the community. We have the best teachers on earth. We have the best support staff. I love coming to work in Western Placer because people are truly, truly here for kids. And
that comes through your energy and just your enthusiasm. Like, I can tell you love where you serve.
I do. I feel like I've died and gone to heaven. Truly. It's the best place to work.
And the thing, Kerry, for me, it trickles up to your board members that I've had conversations with too. Like, your board is truly outstanding. They're kid-centered, kid-focused, and what I love, they want to innovate. They want to move forward. They want to think outside the box. What a special, I agree. As the outsider looking in, just having had conversations, what a very special, place to be able to lead that work, and giving you that opportunity to move the district in new and better places. It is a special opportunity, probably.
What I love about our board in that regard is that we recently had a conversation where we were talking about the way in which we've always done things, right? So there's that fine balance between supporting tradition, and Lincoln High School in our school district is one of two high schools that's been around for 113 years. So you can imagine the tradition that exists, and making sure that you're navigating that in a thoughtful way in terms of honoring that, while at the same time really embracing what's next for the district. And I love that our board, and Jeff, thank you for acknowledging that they're like, just because we've always done it doesn't mean we always should. And so they really trust me and our team to be thoughtful and strategic about how to balance that, not lose why we exist and where we came from, but making sure that we're Western Placer of tomorrow and not Western Placer of yesterday.
One of the things that I think about, obviously transitioned out of being a superintendent in California, didn't retire, but there are challenges that are facing superintendents. And I'm thinking, from your perspective, it's been 2.5 years since I was sitting in that seat. Right now, what's the greatest challenge facing superintendents? And then the other thing is your longevity. You're beyond the norm, at least in California. It's like 2 years is the magic number, and then you're out of your seat, which I don't know what that even means nowadays. Like, how you can't get anything done in 2 years. But so what's the challenge, and then what's the secret to longevity, in your opinion?
Oh, so the challenge, there's so many, right? But I also see challenge as an opportunity. So and glasses half full for me. But I would say the biggest challenge right now is just, navigating the political aspects of the world, and how do we support all kids and all families, given some of the polarization that's occurring, and just really being thoughtful that we're not here to tell anybody what to think or what to believe. Like, it's our job to teach you how to think, so that you can think for yourself and then believe what you're going to believe based on being good stewards of information and navigators of what's real and what's not. I think, funding is always going to be a concern in terms of how do we do more with less in some regards, because we're just not keeping up with what the costs are associated with doing business. But I think probably the biggest, and I alluded to it earlier, is how are we going to stay relevant for kids? Because education needs to kick it into gear a bit more, a lot more, in order for us to be truly preparing kids for the world that they're going to be in once they leave us. And if we don't do that, they're going to find other ways to get whatever it is that they need or not. And that's the part that scares me the most, is that if we're not giving them what they need, are they going to get it? And they're our future. So we need to kick it into gear much more.
Yes. I was having a conversation with a couple of superintendents in Texas, and I felt like this has been, on the horizon forever, but essentially having to talk about, we've got to realize as school districts and as leaders, we're in sales, right? Like, we're in sales. It is no longer where, neighborhoods pop up and the kids have to go where they go and there's no competition. Now you're not only competing with your neighbor of your public school, but you're also your private, your charter. And there's got to be some compelling reasons of why families and kids are going to come to your school. And I just want your thoughts and feedback. Do you agree with that? Are you seeing some of those same things in California, that there's more of an urgency to really promote, this is what our differentiators are for our kids?
Yes, absolutely. And I think as part of our rebrand, and one of the statistics for our district that I'm most proud of is exactly what you're alluding to. So while I think we still need to do more, because if we don't continue to progress and make it meaningful for kids, we're gonna lose ground. But when I started in the district 11 years ago, we were only serving 72% of the school age students who lived in the district. Today, we serve 96% of the students.
Oh, yeah. Wow!
So that is, and I.
Wait, you can't just drop that on us. How'd y'all do that?
I think we changed what people thought of us, and we've been doing it longer than we officially rebranded. But right. we were always kind of counted out as compared to some of our surrounding districts, and there was always a sense that, we're going to buy a house in Lincoln because it's more affordable than Rockland or Roseville, which are nearby, but our kids are going to go to school in Rockland and Roseville, and because that we can, or they're going to go to the charter that's in town, and gone are those days. So we have families that move into our area because they want their kids to go to school in Western Placer, and I am super proud of that, and that's just a huge testament to the incredible dedication and work of the teachers and support staff and administration in our district. But I do think that we have to address it, and I think declining enrollment is not just because we're declining in people. They're still here. They're just not choosing to go to school in public education anymore. And it might be that they're not in private school either. They're doing more of a homeschool or independent study, because COVID opened the eyes to a lot of families that's feasible, it's doable. It also scared a lot of families to death, and they couldn't wait for their kids to get back into school, right? So, I mean, me too, and I'm an educator, so it was, I couldn't wait for my kid to go back to school. But it's real. Like we are losing people, not just because they're leaving our area, they're just leaving our system, and that's a big issue. And I realized, Jeff, that I didn't answer your longevity question from the previous one before. So I don't think there's any secret sauce to longevity per se. I am a Leo though, born in August, so we're loyal, and I get in, I work, I fall in love, and I stay. And so this is now the longest I've been in a district. I spent 5 years in one district, 10 in another, and this is my 11th in Western Placer, and I hope to retire from here. But I think obviously I've got to be doing something that the board wants to keep me around. And the staff isn't doing a vote of no confidence or anything. But I think part of it is trying to instill hope for the future and rally people around doing really good work for the right reasons.
You saw a glimmer though into something that I caught on the website is that you like to play games. And so I also, you said the number 72 to 96. You're competitive. I can tell this. You are true, right? I can tell that you're very, very competitive. So I'm just curious, what's your favorite game? And are you a board game, sports game, or everything? Just curious.
I am everything. So my favorite board game right now is Codenames, which it's kind of a board game, kind of not, but it's really hard to explain. But it's a word game. But so Rick, as an English person, you would appreciate that. But I grew up in a family that loved games and puzzles, and Pitch was a game that we played in upstate New York. It's kind of similar to euchre, which is more familiar to some folks, but so that was a card game that we really enjoyed. But and my kids love to play games as well, so we're constantly doing that. And then very, very competitive. When I decide to go in on something, I go all in. So running is something that I love to do too. And when I started running, I decided I'm going to qualify for the Boston Marathon. And so I'm not just going to run, I'm going to run a marathon, I'm going to qualify. So I did. And so it's just a little bit competitive.
You're one of those people, I bet you when you were a child and you were playing tiddlywinks with your grandma, you were trying to kick her rear.
Oh, yes.
That's hysterical. So I got to ask then, in cabinet meetings, when does it get very competitive? Like, is there one time or one thing where it kind of comes out in the group?
Oh, no.
Ours used to be staffing. Like I knew when staffing season, because everybody's trying to fight for their department or what have you. It would get, and I felt like we were very analytical, numbers and counts and FTEs. But I remember some of those staffings. It was heated, but it was needed because we were a team and we really had to figure out what was the biggest bang for our buck in terms of to allocate staff.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I do find it to be quite a game to get my CBO to say yes to things, right? So like there is that. I'm very grateful that she is the warden of our budget, and I'm pretty fiscally conservative myself too, so she doesn't have to worry a whole lot. But I do find it wonderful when I'm able to convince her that we need to do something a little.
Okay, what's your approach? Like, what do you go in? Like, because I used to have one too. Like when I knew, I was like, all right, we probably don't need this right now, but I was like, God, this sure would be cool for kids if we could. So I would have this whole plan of action, like a pitch deck to see me coming. What is your approach?
Usually the way in which I get her is I try to be strategic in getting her to think that it was her idea in the first place.
Yes.
Another
awesome. Secret I did, Kerry, is I took that AXA Business Academy.
Oh, yeah.
I went through that 10-week course. Man, I learned some things in that thing that I would have never, because I was an ed services person, right? I wasn't the fiscal person going through, so there are certain nuances. That Business Academy, that gave me some tricks right there. I'm like, okay, this will help because I think we all face this.
They say there's no such thing as a photographic memory, but I have one that's pretty close, and especially when it comes to numbers and math. And so when we're talking about budget, I always remember the numbers that we've talked about, and I can visualize them on the paper. And I'll say, well, don't we have X? And I'll have to look at that. I'm like, no, I know it's X. And then back and she's like, you're right. That's exactly the number. I'm like, yeah, because you showed it to me once.
Well, all right, okay. Let's. We want to be honorable of your time, but finish this sentence for us and take us out. Western Placer students will be what by 2030?
Western Placer students will be collaborative, curious, have integrity, be resilient, be critical thinkers, and will absolutely be kind by 2030.
I love it. I love it. We can't thank you enough for joining the show and just spending some time, and your energy and passion like just come right through the screen. So we got to do something in person. If you're at Edge this year, I'd love just to sit down and talk and get to know more about you and the district. And by the way, not saying anything, but Texas has about 76 open superintendencies. And so
I'm a Leo. I'm not going anywhere.
Well, I got to try, right?
I'm hoping no, they won't kick me out anytime soon.
I have to try, I have to try to always be recruiting, right? So, but thank you so much, and Jeff, thank you, for inviting Kerry and just sharing her story and a little bit about their district. I appreciate it so much for joining the Powercast.
I'm honored. Thank you so much for having me. It was a blast.
Okay. Well, if you like what you saw and heard, please like, subscribe, and please, if you're in the area of Lincoln in Sacramento and you're a Kings fan, but you're an education fan as well, check out Western Placer. They got some great things going on, and join us next time on the Powercast.